Luke Theron, Colm and Luke Haskell, special guests, members of the media and everyone watching on the webcast on GAA.ie. You're very welcome to our preview of the Allianz League Division 1 hurling final between Clare and Waterford. My name is Darren Frehel. I'm delighted to be here with you this afternoon as we look ahead to this big match. And we've got some very special guests for you to meet this afternoon. Two of the finest hurlers in the country. We've Austin Gleeson from Waterford and we've Colm Galvin from Clare. We're going to be meeting the two lads very, very shortly. But again, we're giving the opportunity to all the fans at home who are watching this online to put some questions to the lads a little bit later on. If you want to get in touch, go on your Twitter account, send us your question and just put on the hashtag Allianz Leagues and send us your question, and we'll be putting the best of them to the lads very, very shortly. And we also have a number of tickets as well, kind of very good tickets for the final on Sunday at Semple Stadium. The match getting underway at 3:30, and we're giving those away to the best of the questions that come into us. So remember, put your question on Twitter and just include hashtag Allianz Leagues. Now, I think Sunday's final is fascinating for a number of reasons, and the first reason for me is the leagues go back to the 1920s, and this is the first time that these two have met in the decider. So it's been a long time coming, but we're all looking forward to it. The other big reason is there's a certain championship match coming up on the 1st of May, and I think this is a very interesting appetizer, an interesting first course, so it'll be interesting to see what happens on Sunday. The other reason for me is it's a long time since these two teams have actually played at any level. 2004, March 2004, so it's been a while coming, this clash, and I'm sure Austin Gleeson, for one, has never actually played against Clare, so he's looking forward to facing them for the very first time. And the last reason why this is so fascinating for me is we saw Waterford last year coming up, winning Division 1B and going on to win the Division 1 title, and Clare hoping to repeat that this year. So as a very passionate Galway hurling fan, I'm hoping that relegation is a blessing in disguise, and maybe next year we'll be up there competing for a Division 1 final as well. But before we meet the lads, we have some formalities, and before all that, we're going to get to our representative from Allianz this afternoon just to throw the ball in, and that's the head of marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome for Damien O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Darren. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, a very, very warm welcome to a beautiful Croke Park this morning. The sun is shining out there and everything looks extraordinary, as it always does. So very warm welcome to everybody here today, and also to all of those across the world that are joining us on GAA.ie. I also want to pay a particular welcome and thank you to our two guests today, to Colm and to Austin. You've got to appreciate that this is an incredibly busy week for those guys, and for them to have travelled fairly substantial distances to be with us this morning. We really do appreciate that. And guys, we're looking forward to hearing your insights and what you have to tell us about what promises to be a phenomenal and fantastic match this coming Sunday. I want to depart from the script I brought with me. I'm not actually going to open it. I want to say something that's quite personal to me. I have been sitting out there for the last 24 years involved with our Allianz League's previews of this type. That's 24 years by 2, maybe 4 opportunities each year. And I've often sat back there and I've said to myself, what would I like to say if I got a chance to come up here and say a few words? I'm here today because our CEO unfortunately couldn't make it, Sean McGrath. So it's my great privilege and pleasure. And I was thinking about this last night as to what I would say. And there are 2 things I would like to say. The first is I would like to thank the GAA. And I'm not saying this in any way to be patronising. I really, sincerely, over those 24 years, I have been bowled over by the professionalism of this organisation. And I think it's entirely appropriate to say that in reflection of what we all shared and enjoyed immensely last Sunday at the Allianz League football finals here in Croke Park. I suppose the most important thing I could say, and I cut straight to the quick when I say it, I was really proud to be an Irishman, because not only did we over the weekend that went through see 4 fabulous matches with 4 teams out to win silver for their counties. A fantastic display of football. Absolutely brilliant. Sunday was extraordinary 80,000 people out here watching what were two spectacular matches. And then, as if that wasn't enough, we were treated to Lercra. Well, I have to say, as I sat in the stands and watched it, it was terrific. And I compliment the GAA for that. And from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of all of my colleagues in Allianz, I sincerely thank them for the great job they do in the promotion of these games, for the promotion of this competition, and for the opportunity as an Irishman to be here last week to celebrate a momentous time for all of us as citizens of this country. And I do sincerely thank them. I have one other thing to say, and that is, and this is something I've wanted to do for quite a number of years, and again it goes back to a thank you. And the thank you is sincerely to you guys. We always say thank you to the media. I know, because I always write that paragraph in the script that my colleagues deliver. And I'm always very, very precise that it's there. Today, I want to say thank you. The GAA have a slogan, and it says, "Nothing beats being there." Well, when I read your copy and I watch your programs and I listen to what you say, you guys, in terms of what you do, it's a very close second to nothing beats being there. Through your words, through your analysis, through your energy, through your enthusiasm, through your absolute crazy enthusiasm, you are able to fill in the blanks for people. You are able to transport people who didn't manage to be there, to come back to something, to read the columns that you write, to hear the programs that you produce. It is phenomenal, guys. And I have been reading that for years and years and years. Thank you from the bottom of my heart as a fan of these games. Thank you as somebody coming from Allianz who has a professional interest in what you do. So if you haven't heard us say that to you in the past, I'm saying it to you today. And if I don't get a chance for another 24 years to step up here, I'm saying it loud and clear. Guys, thank you sincerely. You do a fantastic job bringing these brilliant games, not just to the people of Ireland, but now through GAA Go, through the GAA.ie, through sessions of this type. We are collectively developing to the fan base a potential to access and to enjoy these phenomenal games. So well done on that, guys. And from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of all of my colleagues, and on behalf of the two CEOs, Brendan Murphy, now gone from Allianz, but from Sean McGrath, who had hoped to be here today, on their behalf, I thank you most sincerely for what you do. So guys, that's as much as I can say at this point. I think it's important, after 24 years of sitting in the back row, to actually get that said. And I'm delighted that I have the opportunity to say it. I'm obviously aware that we're here to talk to two guys who are legends in hurling, as Darren has said. So I think I'm going to take us all out of our misery, and I'm going to step down. You probably won't hear from me again, as I said, for a very long time. But really, guys, thank you for making the journey today. And as I said, we look forward to your insights. Darren, back to you. Thank you.
Oh, thanks very much, Damien. We'll have to get you up more often than that. Great. Thanks for those words as well, Damien. And just to, I suppose, echo what Damien was saying, I was going to say it anyway, just to congratulate the GAA and everyone here in Croke Park on that production at the weekend. And it really was, as Damien was saying, anyone that was here, I know you just felt proud to be here. You felt like it was a real privilege, and God knows how much time went into the planning, the preparation, and even the execution of that, what can only be described as an extravaganza, because that was what it was. I've been lucky enough to travel the world and see different events, and that was right up there in terms of spectacle. So well done to them. Now, the only problem with Lercra and what we saw on Sunday is they're going to have to follow up on that. So maybe Aegon O'Ferrill, the GAA President, can tell us how they're going to do that this year. Aegon, very welcome today. Round warm of applause for Aegon, please.
Gormaig Darren, thank you very much for your kind comments, and also to Damien. It was worth waiting 24 years, Damien, to hear those passionate and very sincerely felt comments, and on behalf of everyone involved with GAA, I appreciate them. The Allianz sponsorship, said it before, we'll say it again, we're delighted with it. Don't particularly personally like sponsorships where a sponsorship check arrives and a name goes on a logo and that's it. I like a partnership, and we have that with Allianz, and that is very important. It's not just in terms of you sponsor an event. We are big partners together. We work very closely with Allianz, and on behalf of all of the team here in Croke Park and right throughout the county, the country and all our grounds, we appreciate the good friendships that have developed. So thank you to Allianz. It will be easy, in my opinion, to follow on from Clare. I do believe that there is no other warrior sport in the world to match hurling. I think hurling is a very special event. We saw it going back to the mists of antiquity in the Clare programme, but we'll actually see it for real. We will see the real heroes in Semple Stadium next weekend. And isn't it amazing, as Darren has rightly said, this is the first time ever that these two teams, Clare and Waterford, the Dacia and the Banner, will face off to each other in an Allianz All-Ireland Hurling Division 1 final. That is also reflective of what's happening in hurling. The hurling map is changing ever so slowly. I wouldn't over-exaggerate it, but it is changing. We are expanding. A Cavan hurling team got to an Ulster B minor final last year. Small steps, but it is changing. And this year, we're now starting next week the Celtic Challenge in hurling, where all regions of Ireland will take part in an All-Ireland competition. So there is a slow change, and this fits into that when we see two counties that have never before faced off against each other, and we're very much looking forward to that. And that brings me to the match itself. It is unique, but at the unique heart of every match are the players. I've said this before, I've written it in various notes, the players are at the heart of what we do. We admire everything about what they do. Their skill, their passion, their commitment, and remember, like the rest of us, they will play a fantastic game on Sunday, and on Monday, we hope, they'll go back to work or back to school or back to college. That's part of what they do. They're local heroes, they'll be in the local streets, they'll be in the local cafes, the local shops, and down at the local club during the week. They are genuine heroes, and they are the Lecra, and we very much thank them. I know they're represented today by Austin and Colm, and we sincerely thank both of them for coming from their busy schedules to be here today, but all of the players for what they do. And could I also mention Brian Galvin, who will referee the match. We greatly appreciate the input of the referees and all of the stewards and all of everyone involved in it. So it's an Allianz League final in Semple Stadium at 3:30. Is a little bit different because of its unique nature and because of the fact, as I said, that these are two new teams, but it will be an example of the living GAA heritage. We have celebrated the past, but we're very keen to keep two eyes focused firmly on the future. And the future will be very evident that hurling is in a very strong, thriving position, and we look forward to a tremendous game in Thurles next weekend. Gormaig.
Thanks, Egon. Just a reminder to everyone watching at home, we have a couple of tickets to give away for the big match on Sunday at Semple Stadium for the best questions. If you have a question for Colm Galvin or for Austin Gleeson, just tweet us your question and include Allianz Leagues, and we'll be putting those questions to the lads right now. So let's meet them. Ladies and gentlemen, will you put your hands together and welcome Austin Gleeson and Colm Galvin. Now, I know we said all the questions are coming in on Twitter, but I did get one question in on WhatsApp. Am I allowed to read that one out? I know we're bending the rules slightly, but it's come in for you, Austin, this morning, and it's come from a man called John. You might know him, John Milan, and he heard you were doing this launch this morning, and he has a question for you. He said, Ozzy, as a staunch Mount Sion man, why did you feel you had to go to De La Salle to learn how to play hurling?
Thanks for that, John. I suppose I live around the corner from De La Salle College, so it was kind of
convenient.
It was convenient to go there. Yeah, but I suppose it was kind of it helped a lot. I suppose playing Harty and playing against the likes of inter-county players now. Like I suppose playing Harty in D9 age groups, like that helped a lot to kind of get where I am today. And so I suppose he's right in one way, I suppose.
So they deserve a little bit of credit, do they?
Small bit.
Okay.
It was a great school. I really enjoyed my time there, and it was helped by, I suppose, by Derek. He was the Harty manager and I was there, so he helped out a good bit as well. So yeah, thanks for that, John.
Colm, have you any skeletons in your closet you want to tell us before they come in on Twitter?
No, hopefully not.
Lads, it's great to have you here. I suppose, Colm, we'll start here with a question that's come in, and it's come in from Brian, and he's just asking, Colm, how much confidence has the win over Kilkenny given you and the squad?
It's given us a bit of confidence, I suppose, but I suppose we beat them 2 years ago in the league as well, and we didn't really kick on from there. I suppose look, Kilkenny are only one team in Ireland, and on the day they're beatable, but we all know how good they are as well. So it was a great boost to the camp. So it's all eyes ahead as we're going on. So it was great to get the momentum, but we'll hopefully be able to carry that into Sunday.
Did the nature of the victory surprise you actually in Semple Stadium?
A bit to be honest, yeah, because I haven't seen Kilkenny get beaten by 9 or 10 points in a long time. If maybe 2001 was the last time, so it just shows you how dominant they are. And I was a bit taken back, but I didn't really reflect on it until after the game.
No doubt they'll be back, in your opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what they're all about.
They're not gone far. A question here as well for you, Colm. It's from Conor Casey. He's gotten in touch, and he says here, Clare unbeaten in 2016. This time last year, we struggled to win a game of any sort. And what made the difference this season, in your opinion?
I suppose, look, we were very unlucky not to win 1 or 2 close games last year. We were only losing by a point or two. It wasn't as if we were getting blown out of the water. I suppose, look, we've probably upped our work rate a bit this year, and our numbers in terms of tackling and hooking and blocking have probably come up, and that's probably been the difference this year. We're working fairly well as a unit, and you could say maybe that Donal Logue and Paul Kinnerk and Angus Ryan coming in has probably made an impact in some sort of way as well.
And do you think actually the season in Division 1B, has it kind of helped you in some way? Is it a motivation to kind of go on and prove people wrong?
It is and it isn't. Look, I suppose it gives lads a bit of confidence. It gives them a winning streak, and it's very important thing in any sport to have a winning streak. Once you're on a winning streak, it's very hard to stop. And any good team, any team in the country knows that. And look, it was grand to come in under the radar as well in 1B in a sense, whereas all the top teams are playing against each other in Division 1A, and they sort of took a bit of focus off us. So it was good. It was good in that sense, anyway.
Yeah, Austin, it's still hard to believe. I was just saying this to someone earlier on. You're still only 20 years of age, and you've actually never even played against Clare before in an inter-county match, have you?
No, I haven't. I suppose that kind of my first year on the panel, we actually played Clare up in Ennis, and I was on the bench that day. I was only kind of getting over a hamstring injury, I suppose, and we didn't cross paths since. So Sunday's going to be actually my first time playing against Clare in senior championship.
Do you know what to expect?
No, I suppose it's the same as playing. I suppose playing as any other team. We're expecting a hard hitting, really tough task ahead of us. Like, no matter who you're playing, you're going to get that nowadays. Everyone's trying to match each other, and we know that Clare after setting up their game from last year, I suppose, again, and we know that the likes of getting over Kilkenny in the semi-final, that's going to give him, as Colm was saying, that's going to give him a boost of confidence, and it's going to be a very big game, and it's going to be 50-50, and it's going to be a lungbuster on Sunday. Okay,
now there's a lot of questions coming in for you here as well, Austin, and you've been invited to a few debs. You'd be delighted to know. Do you want me to pass those on afterwards? We have a couple of serious ones as well, though. Donald wants to ask Austin if a lack of goals during the regular season was a concern for you.
I suppose it wouldn't really be too much of a concern, as in we kind of not getting the goals and we were still winning the games. I suppose that's the way we were looking at it, and I think we got one goal before the Limerick game. I think it was against Tipperary, and we needed that goal that Tom scored, and it was at a pivotal time in the game, and thankfully in the end we got over the line. But I suppose as long as we keep trying to kind of scoring the points, and we try and keep the opposition forwards out as much as we possibly can, and try and keep it outside kind of game as much as we possibly can. We have the confidence in ourselves that we could, if everything goes right for us on the day, that we could beat a team as in kind of point scoring and not really relying on goals. But look, we always want to get goals, and we know we can get goals. I suppose we always kind of create the chances. It's just, I suppose it's up to the players to finish them, and we're not really doing that as much now.
It's not bothering you psychologically then? I know the media make a big thing out of it that you don't score enough goals. It doesn't really. You're kind of, what I'm reading into that is it doesn't really bother you, that sort of talk.
No, not at all. Like we kind of concentrate what happens in camp between ourselves, I suppose, more than that, and then kind of looking at the media kind of looking at not getting goals. I suppose, as I said, like we just concentrate on trying to beat the teams in whatever way we possibly can, and if it means not scoring goals, it means not scoring goals. If we score goals, we score goals. So it's just whatever happens.
Derek Hayes has been in touch, and he's just kind of wondering if you see league success as a platform to success later in the summer.
Yeah, I suppose in a way you would, absolutely. I suppose because last year it gave us massive confidence going into the championship, and like we showed that it's. A lot of people are saying that was kind of a fluke, I suppose, but we just believed in ourselves. We believed that on a day we could beat anyone, and looking in the two teams, in my opinion, last year were probably the two best teams in the country, were Kilkenny and Tip, and they were the two teams that beat us last year. Other than that, like we kind of got over the line against everyone else. So look, we believe that we can do anything, and suppose as long as you keep winning, Colm will back you up here. Like it's massive to keep winning. It keeps the confidence going. It keeps you rolling, and it keeps the games coming closer to the championship.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions in here, Colm, asking about the influence of one Donal Cusack on the setup in Clare this year. What impact has he had in your dressing room?
I suppose he's brought a lot to the backs, especially he'd be very heavily involved with the backs, but he's brought a professionalism as well. You know, he's very high standards in terms of work, in terms of when he comes to training. There's no messing about. You know, you do what you're told, you do what you're meant to do. And if you're not doing the job, you'll be pulled up on it. And I suppose that's something very important to have. And I suppose just his presence alone, he's been there. He's won Munsters, he's won All-Irelands. He's a key figure in the GAA, and he's great to have on board. But it's not just Donal. You have Paul Kinnerk and you have Angus O'Brien, who I said earlier on to the lads, and they've all really, I suppose, grouped together, and they've all come up with strategies and game plans and stuff that seem to be working for us, and it's a good system to have at the moment between ourselves.
Yeah, has he freshened things up, do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely he has. You know, I'd say from an outsider looking in, you'd say he's definitely had a big input, but as I said, he's definitely freshened things up all right, and look, when you have a man of his experience, he's going to bring a lot to the table, and that's what he's done. He's definitely helped our backs in terms of how they play and how they attack the ball and how they defend. And look, it's invaluable, his experience that he brings to the table.
Yeah, there's a question here for you as well. He's actually asked you about Donal, but it's from Mark Phelan, and he also asks if it's a relief for Clare to have found your mojo again after last year.
I suppose it's a relief to start winning games by 1 or 2 points rather than losing them by 1 or 2 points. You know, that's always a good thing to have when you're coming in. And I suppose, as Ozzy would say there, if the longer you stay in the league, the better for your hurling, because your hurling is sharper. You're not doing as much tough training between, say, March, April to June. Your fitness levels are going to remain very high for championship. Because don't get me wrong, the level that we're playing in the league is not very far off the championship pace at all, if anything off the championship pace. So if the longer you can stay in the league, the better chance I think you have in the rest of the year.
Yeah, a question here from Barry Kenny, and it's for Austin again. Austin, having won the league last year, what would it mean for you to do it again this season, because you've never done it before?
I suppose it'd be massive for us, confidence-wise. I'd say, as Colm was saying there, like going into the championship then as well, it's a massive boost, and look, there's a new cup this year, I suppose, and obviously it'd be nice to be the last names on the old one and the first names on the new one, I suppose. So yeah, look, the two teams are going to be all out for it on Sunday, and it's not going to be too tactical of a battle because we faced on our championship. I suppose it's a national trophy in the end of the day, and it's a right to lift the cup, so everyone's going to be going hell for leather for it.
Yeah, there's a question in here from Larry Power, actually. Does Austin remember Brick lifting the cup in 2007, and do you give him a hard time for being an oldie?
I suppose I can remember it slightly as I can. It was something Thurles, I think it was, But yeah, I remember then kind of last few months, and I suppose he's the old brigade now in the team, and I think a couple of younger lads are starting to call him Grandad on the team. Like, so it's I know
loving you for that.
He's brilliant though. He's the most underrated kind of worker and stuff like that I've probably ever seen with regards to Waterford. Like, he's after the help personally he's after giving me, and I know that a lot of the younger lads are the same, that he's after carrying us through a lot. Like, so yeah, he's brilliant, like, and he's great to still have her in the dressing room, and please God he's another couple of years in him.
Yeah, okay. Sheila Ryan has tweeted in a message for Colm, and it's actually something I observed myself at the week, or in the semi-finals, and it's to do with the GPS. I saw the GPS monitors being placed on the subs when they were heading out onto the field, and she wants to know, do you think Clare are more organised because of this GPS, and how does it help you, all that tracking?
Look, I'd say 70% of the teams, if not 80% of teams in the country, probably have GPS systems at the moment. It's not just us. Look, they definitely do help with terms of how lads are getting on through a game, what distance they're covering. I suppose it is a very professional thing to have in a team. You know, it'll tell you what distance you're travelling, how fast you're going, and it's great if lads are getting tired very quickly to be able to tell you need a sub on.
You're found out quick enough, I'd say.
Yeah, you're found out quick enough. You don't need the GPS to tell you that. But no, it's the professionalism in hurling at the moment is definitely up there with the best. And look, it's in terms of how it helps the managers and the physical trainers, it's huge, because it tells you the training loads are doing during the week. It tells you if lads need a rest during the week. It tells you if there's burnout coming, so they're very wary of telling you maybe if you're tired not to train on a Tuesday or something like that. So they're very good.
Okay, JJ's been in touch. Austin, is Maurice Shanahan going to be fit for the league final?
I was asked that question earlier, and to be honest, I don't really know. He's just waiting on results to come back, and
he's a hip injury, was it?
I think it was his hip and the groin injury, yeah. And so we trained last night. He done a bit with us, so to be honest, it's up to between himself, the management and the medical team, I suppose, to kind of answer that question. But so I don't really know, to be honest. But hopefully he's there. He's a massive player for us.
Sure, I'm sure we'll find out later in the week. Aisling has also been in touch, and she wants to know what's it like to play in the Waterford system. I'm sure you're going to be asked about this one a little bit later on as well.
I find it great, like, because it's obviously when we started kind of doing it last year, it obviously took us a while to kind of get used to it. But now that we kind of know what way we have to try and go about it, like it's not nowhere near perfected yet. Like, we still have a couple of years to go. But yeah, once the players, every player knows what they're doing, it's just, you're just given a license of freedom. Then, like, after that, like, it's once you get your bearings in the game and what you have to do, what you're kind of told to do by the management, and then after that, like, it's just go out and use your freedom that you have. And look, if a ball goes, if you end up in the corner, and if you end up at corner back or corner forward, it's what happens in the game. Like, you can't really help it. It's just your pure instinct. But in our system, like, we've a lot of freedom as long as you just stick to your job. Derek and the lads just leave you kind of do, not, I wouldn't say your own thing, but kind of like it wouldn't fall back on them if you did something wrong. Like, it'll be on your own back, I suppose.
Yeah, and I suppose the systems, Clare have been, talk of systems for a long time. Colm, obviously when you won the All-Ireland, a lot of people said you were a short hand-passing team, but you've evolved as well over the last couple of seasons, haven't you?
Yeah, I suppose we've sort of varied the game a bit more. We got a bit of criticism, alright, for it, but when we won, everyone thought it was a brilliant idea. So I don't know what they're saying now, but look, it's same with Waterford. They've stuck their system the last 2 years. It's worked very well. But as anyone knows, if one player doesn't buy into the system, you might as well not use it at all. So as you can see, Waterford, they're born into the system very well. That's why they're playing so well for the last 2 years, and we're trying to buy into the system this year. And I think that it's very important that everyone believes that the system they're going with, or the tactics that they're using, are going to work. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste of time.
Okay, there's a question here. I won't give you the Just for Men one here from Tommy Gallagher, Austin. But in terms of each other, how highly would you rate this Clare team? And then Colm, I'll ask you for your thoughts on the Waterford team. So Austin, you first.
Sure. what could you say about the calibre of this Clare team? Like, they're after winning, I think it was 3 All-Irelands under 21 in a row, and the minors as well, and then they won the All-Ireland 2013. Like, so look, we know that the last couple of years, like, things didn't go right for them, but as Colm was saying, it was always 1 or 2 points. They could come out this year and just wipe the floor with everyone. It's within them, like, the calibre of players that they have. Yet they're still missing some key players, and yet they're still in the National League final. And look what they done to Kilkenny last week, like, or 2 weeks ago, is just phenomenal. And look, we know that Clare are going to be there by the end of the championship and there for the next couple of years. So look, hopefully if we can keep with him and stay by him, hopefully we might never know, we could end up playing each other up here in September in some years. So look, we know that their speed, their aggression, their heart, everything, especially with Davy on the line, like, they're never going to be found wanting. So look, we rate them very highly, as well as everyone else in the country would.
And Colm, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look,
their opposition on Sunday.
Yeah, they're probably, I think they were very unfortunate not to get further last year, the way they played. They won the league very convincingly, and this year, like, they're putting teams away again, you know. I rate them there, if not the best team, with Kilkenny up there at the moment. Just by the way they're playing, you know. I suppose we're going to have to bring our absolute A game on Sunday and see how we get on, but it's going to be an interesting year meeting them again in the championship. So look, no, both teams won't be holding back on Sunday, and they won't be holding back for the championship either, so it's going to be a good few weeks coming up.
Yeah, we're going to finish up now. Just give 1 or 2 quick ones. Obviously, Colin Dunford has very little to be at this afternoon. Austin, who's your best friend on the Waterford team?
It's not Colin anyway.
It's not Colin. Okay. Should he not be working or in class or something?
I suppose he's meant to be studying, but he won't really be into that now. He don't really have much upstairs, but
there you go. He's got your back, Colin.
Yeah, he was no, I thought I'd get him back if he said he was going to put in one last night, but I suppose everyone's kind of close on the team, I suppose, but probably if I had to kind of pick one, it probably would actually be Colin, I suppose, but
there you go. It's a lovely moment to end on, ladies and gentlemen. Colm and Austin, it's been great having you on board, and very best of luck at the weekend. I know all the neutrals among us are really looking forward to it. I'm sure everyone in Waterford and Clare as well. Should be a cracker, so we're looking forward to that. Thanks as well to everyone who's been tweeting in their questions, and we have these tickets. We're going to be selecting 2 winners, and we'll be getting in touch with you, and we'll send those tickets out to you as well. Look forward to those games, as I said, and I hope everyone else enjoys them as well. Live coverage of the Allianz League Division 1 hurling final between Waterford and Clare on TG Car at the weekend, and radio coverage on Sunday Sport and Radio 1. Until next time, bye for now.
It won't be easy. It won't be easy to rise in the silence or fall in the hush. Nothing comes easy. Not here, not now, not ever. If you're going to be there, then be there all the way. And know that every moment from that to this was worth it. Every tackle, every shout, every score, every sacrifice. Because everything you were meant to be, everything you know you are, is already there. The Allianz Leagues. Be there all the way.